Drop a 1 in the chat so I know you can hear me. Somebody put a 1 in the comment section and I didn't see it till after. So this is a Spirit of Moment Live. I actually came on to see who all was present when I was on THEEE. I did notice when I went on my other platform, Someone That Stars Intuitive, that a few of my members were commenting. Please share the live. Share it so more people will know that I'm here. We're stronger together. We're stronger together. Hello, Sarah. I hope you all have a wonderful, blissful day, morning, noon, night. I want to ask some of you, do you believe in being reborn? If you believe in being reborn, not reincarnated, greetings, Victorious T. If you believe in being reborn, put 3 in the chat. I ran across something interesting when I was over on THEEE, which is very popular. The reason why I'm talking about being reborn is when you ascend past a certain height, when the God is preparing you for something else, He will take you out of your body and put you back in it. A lot of times people experience that type of reborn when they are intoxicated. They don't equate it to being reborn. It does create an energy within inside of you that makes you want to do better, makes you want to get closer to the God. If anybody have any questions for me and I see them, I'll respond to them. So the reason why I'm talking about being reborn is when I woke up this morning, the ventricles in my heart were swollen. Now for me, I'm very intuitive, so I notice things like that. It has happened to me several times. When the God starts talking to you, miraculous things happen. Things that people would say is not real. Being reborn means you have a higher purpose. That means that you can't be present where you're currently at, and for you to be present somewhere else, you have to go. That doesn't mean you're not going to go back to where you were at and it happened. What it means is that version of you has to ascend. Someone had a hypothesis the other day about ascension. A lot of times when you're going through certain types of ascension and you've ascended to that point, the archangels, pantheons, Osikinias, and several other type of beings have access to you because of the reptilian brain being highlighted. So that means random thoughts, sometimes they could intercept them. If you're a profound thinker, then you would know when an archangel or a pantheon has tapped into your reptilian brain, because that is what one of the ways that archangels specifically communicate is telepathy. Before ascension, you communicate through nudges. You get a whim to do something, and it's heavy on your heart. And you may have dropped the ball before when you got that nudge. So the next time it happened, you wanted to do it. But what's happening here is there's several different types of archangels wanting to come in because of who is present in the chat. A lot of times y'all will look up and, for instance, I see 5. And then at the end of the live, it'll say 140. Mine remains on whatever number I started, meaning it's 5 of you in here now. If I get shifted in dimensions while holding this device, it will be that I started this live where you are at, but we all went through several different planes of existence at the same time. And I was not aware, and you weren't either. Lives are different from uploaded content. I noticed that. Y'all have to bear with me because I'm drinking my coffee. When I got on Tickety Tockety, I was surprised. They don't believe that they're offline there because people come in, but I can tell when someone's offline. Being offline means you have no connection. Other people will come in. That's funny. Other people will come in. A lot of viewers won't be able to see them if they're not subscribed. That's exactly what it means. If you're not a subscriber and you go into a person's chat or their content, and you are also someone that is offline, you won't know who else is commenting. Well, the reason why I went into that live is because of the artwork that he was displaying, which belongs to a certain era. Because my subscriber count is next to nothing on that platform, a lot of people felt like I was there to get subscribers, and that's not necessarily the case. I'm a very private person, so what that means is when I'm off this platform, I don't look for attention. And that means that I'm not necessarily looking for a big gathering on other apps. It's hard for people to understand this, but it's the truth. I'm not the type of person that wants a lot of attention. I've been like this all my life in this body. What you're going to notice is people become more comfortable with the switching of my voice. It is, I wouldn't say the T word. What I would say is people don't understand it, especially people of color. They equate it to demonic possession. I asked a question the other day about demon. Why do people believe when they hear demon that a demon is a bad thing? I really wanted to know the answer to that, because I've stated in my uploads that being a demon is not necessarily a bad thing. There are many archangels that ascended to become seraphims, whose class is titled as demon. The demon and the demion are never ones that possess you like that. The types that do that, for instance, is Jeezy Bazel. Because of the class that he is, anytime I say his name, he's going to make sure y'all hear his voice. He is one of my protectors. To me, there's nothing to fear from Jeezy. If y'all knew that these were the GFA, these are the ones that do the brawling in the cosmos. How many of you watched that? I think it was in Eclipse. It was NASA. It was a few years ago. A few people caught it. I caught it where there was activity around the moon. You could tell that it was a craft because of the way that it zoomed and zigged and zagged. It did not fly in a straight line. A lot of people, brain is not opened up to realize that there's other type of beings living amongst us, things that we can see and things that we cannot. What's up? Greetings to all in the chat. I see a few of my members. I hope you all have a peaceful day. I want to just state it, that anyone that is on my membership and some that are subscribers, y'all have a certain amount of protection. Now, if you go into crossfire or something like that, if something happens to you, you may survive, but that don't mean go out and purposely test the God's will. So don't do that. If you're being guided to leave someone alone, to leave a certain area alone, don't frink with it. There was a part of Ascension where everyone was guided to dismiss certain people, including family and even grown children, if he told you to. And the reason why came shortly after. There was a lot of parents that are currently no more because when they were told to release that adult child, they did not. I received backlash from that. People were saying, either wants me to give up on my family. I didn't want you to give up on yourself. I didn't want you to give up on yourself because the type of ascension they were going through meant they could hurt you. I had silent support when I put that upload out. It was silent support. There were women that had already been going through it. That entitlement era is talking about several different dimensions, planes, and realms. The entitlement era, for a lot of us that are over 40, for us, that means we were the guinea pigs. We didn't want to raise our children the way we were raised. We wanted to give them freedom, and in turn, or we wanted to give them a better life. Excuse me. We had the means to afford them a better life, and we did so. And because we did it that way without having appropriate father figures in the homes, we suffered the repercussions of our actions. There was an era, which is my era, where a lot of women had children 13, 14, 15, 16 specifically. Either they got pregnant at a young age, in between those age, and they had the child when they Say, for instance, you get pregnant at 16, you have the child at 17. Anywhere in between those years is the entitlement era for us. So what that means is different. The entitlement era for someone like Jeezy means they were dealing with judges, which is very popular in the scriptures. The books, yes, the book of Judges. You all don't understand. Everyone that had something to do with that doctrine was not holy. Some people realize that, and some people don't. Holy means they're not. Unholy means they're not of God. I made a comment about Jesus because that's what I choose to call him because it makes sense. Being the fact that J was not invented back then, in that paradigm, the J came later. So, because I know that is how they pronounced it, it is Jesus. When I said that he is a demon, which means he's still amongst the living, I truly meant that because that is the information that the God exposed to me. Some people take offense to that. And this is what made me ask, why do you believe that demons are bad? The stuff that you see in horror flicks is what it is. It's a horror flick. That comes from distorted minds. They have to get out what they see in their mind and feel. And that is the way that they choose to get it out, in film. So anyone have any questions? Well, the reason why I brought that up is because when I said that he was one, someone took offense to that because they want to equate that Jesus is good and someone like Jesus Bezel is bad. And it's not that. If you were to have a conversation with archangels, they would tell you a different story about Jesus because they walked amongst the time where he was living in a body. You have to understand when you have mortal energy and you have immortal energy, that means something. They're not regular class. When I explained to several of you that energies like Ma'at, Bastet, Oshun, Ogun, these type of beings are still present. So when you take their names, they don't like that. This is something that they had to windmill for when they were in bodies like yours. I was someplace and I was told to inform people that for them, when you use the great, that's what they are, the greats. When you use their name, you want to send past that. So what that means is, if your body decays there, you are reincarnated there again because you never ascended out of that particular distortion. And that's not a good thing. That means you repeat cycles. It's kind of like a self-imposing prison. You always want to ascend to a higher height. When you talk about like Buddhists and monks and things like that, these type of beings don't seek to be one-dimensional or what you call three-dimensional. They want to go past. They want to bear witness to omnipresence. They don't want to just be trapped in their mind when they come back. This is the reason for deep meditation. It takes you to different planes of existence. Yes. Well, one that is very open when she's available is Aztec. Aztec has been with me for many years. So they're very protective of that person. Very protective. They recognize her energy. And when she called judgment on the last live, they made sure that was possible. It's certain ones that they recognize because they've lived when they, for instance, Jeezy knows the Aztec energy, the person that comments, and they get very protective. These are the ones that don't necessarily comment on my other channel, so people don't realize that these are my members. I've had support on this app from the very beginning. Very beginning. It may not look like it because of the situation that is happening here. Some things I don't know the answer to. So that means I'm perplexed as well. God does not tell you all the answers. He puts you in situations and see how you maneuver out of them. A lot of times, if you figure out what's going on, you get moved to another task. There are other type of beings that help outside of archangels, but you don't know these type of beings. When we're talking about frequencies and tempos and things of that sort, that's resonance. So that means when you play loud music with a repetitious beat, there's something somewhere else that's picking that up because the way they operate is off of frequency. They don't necessarily have to have a body and skin. Do you understand that there's seismic activity in eruptions and mountains and caves because of frequencies? We are very complicated beings. That means if an activity like a tempo could move a mountain, what do you think it does to your being? It alerts things other places. When you have something like a major paradigm shift like we just went through, there's a lot of different types of things that were adhering to that energy. And that means they were also going through ascension. Someone had a notion about the dinosaur era, which I've stated before did not happen on Earth. People think it did, but it did not. Somebody was commissioned to tell that story, and it was told. I had a vision of a caveman last night or early this morning. These are other type of beings that have skin, but they're not necessarily human. So if anyone has any questions, then here's your time to answer them before I get off. I went on tickety-tockety because I want to see what happened. A lot of times that's what I do it for. I want to see the response I get. If someone's talking about an archangel and I run across that, I'm going to speak. The most popular archangel, he's not always an archangel, but the most popular one is what you know to be Saint Michael. Do you know that from my era, when you call someone a saint, that means they're a demon? You all don't realize that these words carry weight other places. So when you say Saint Michael, you get that version of him. And Saint Michael is not kind and nice to what you all perceive to be witches. He is not. I noticed a lot of people with Saint Michael statues because that's when he was in saint form. It's not the cards, it's the energy. The seraphim is what I am. They're angels. You want to know what's the highest ranking. And when I say Sobri Natashi, those are the ones that you say are protectors of God's glory. What you feel is a connection to Osifiki. That is someone acting as if he is an archangel seraphim. It is not us. Your energy does not govern. We don't belong with you. Ma'at. We don't belong. Ina Kisi, she is not Ma'at. That's the name there. That's the name there. You call her truth. What's going to happen is if I call you Ma'at, they're going to get upset because they know who Ma'at is. That type of stuff right there, because I informed you, what they would do was they would come in your dreams. They see it as a form of disrespect that you still have it there and you come in my chat. Let's see. I saw what I thought was a demon when I was a little girl. He appeared in the bathroom mirror. I have never forgotten what he looks like. I was raised Pentecostal. Well, the thing about what you're seeing in the mirror, that was actually an ET. I know what you've seen because I've seen it as well. These images came to me during the shift. When they get in the mirror like that, it's because they want to recognize who you are. It's a possibility where you were at, someone did some form of mirror incantation. A lot of time y'all call them affirmations in the mirror, and that's not what they are, not what these individuals were doing. Affirmations are words of positivity. They would get in the mirror and say, make me look like someone else, make me have their body. This type of stuff from those type of beings means you are disturbed when you're going about your day. We know that that's not your intentions, but these ones, it's not me, truth. It's my family, because of what they've been through. Maya is a very complicated energy. If we were to tell you her story, you would cry. She did not become the symbol of the J word by fault. That means she had to go through a lot. A lot of the greats like Lilith, Oshun, Obata, all of these great ones that y'all know of today because you ascended to a certain height, went through a lot, and they still exist. These are what we call immortals. Anytime you are of a certain complexion, that means you are a being. So even if you're not immortal, that means you are a candidate for reincarnation. With other people of certain nationalities, because they're not what you think they are candidates for reincarnation as well. It's about a journey of life. Yes, you've been through it. So you're making it like a statement. It's very, it's very important for you when you go into a chat, for you to say things like, this name is a statement, not my name. For you specifically, truth, you need to come up with a name, so they don't call you Maya, because she's taking offense to that. A lot of times when people see words jumbled like that, they'll just go to the first. But for you specifically, I'll just call you truth because, different beings will start talking. And what'll happen is they'll want to come and scan you and see who you are. Because of this type of ascension, that means we were intertwined with enemies. And a lot of times these enemies would use their name, say that they are someone, they are them somewhere else. You see it, for instance, like you go onto these apps and that an entertainer, that's an entertainer's name, whether if they're not well known or not, and somebody else is using it. And say, for instance, they are a music person, and that other person that is using someone else's name decides that they're going to be a music person. What really happens is the person that takes another celebrity, star, hood celebrity, or whatever's name is already aware of the person that is already established. And what happens is a brawl for the original person's energy. it's not a good thing. You know, like I'm either I'm either everywhere. If somebody decides they want to become a rapper and say I'm either, they're gonna believe in their mind that people think Ether is a rapper when Ether is an oracle. I've already had several people attempt to do that because they feel like I'm not known enough to catch it. With over 100 million views, there's not one person that hasn't ran across my content. What they're hoping for is they run across a video that does not have my image. The thing about individuals that do that, they initially start off acting as if they are that person. They may not show their face, you know, and then when they become more comfortable, they decide, look, this is a hood celebrity, this is someone that is well known in my area, but not over the world. Then they become that person. I've experienced that as a teenager. It was Pooh Man or something. This was somebody that was known in the area that I grew up, Bayview Hunters Point in San Francisco, but he wasn't known worldwide. A lot of these artists that I grew up, some of them I even knew, I played with, or I lived in the same area, they weren't known worldwide. But because I'm on this platform, if I share a local celebrity and y'all see it and say, oh, this is interesting music, you don't know, especially since a lot of times people just get the whim to upload stuff, even if it is 30 years ago. It'll be new to y'all. One time I shared a musician that I grew up with, and it said 10 years. But that music came out when I was like 13 or 14 years old. That's over 20 years ago. So it's new to y'all, but it's not new to me. So y'all gotta watch that. You know, it's very popular names here. Sometimes it's somebody that keeps saying loose, loose, loose. I hear you. I'm not really worried about that because the original person, I've never heard that person's music. And if I did hear that person's music, I wasn't aware of who he was. Some of y'all see these hood celebrities as worldwide celebrities, and this is the reason why so much of the industry comes out in my readings, because of the things they say that become popular. When I explain to people that it's individuals, male, female, that say, you know, I'm going to sell my soul, I want to sell my soul to become. The Hendrix guy is one that was popularized, but he's not the only one that admitted to saying that. He actually admitted to it. What happens is, you know, usually when it comes out like that, they are no more. It's people will cover the story. Sometimes they sensationalize it, you know, and they want clickbait, and so they make it more scarier than what it naturally is. A lot of people have said that, even as children, for different reasons. It doesn't necessarily mean you automatically have a contract with the DEVIL, but it's certain things that come along with when you say I'm going to or I want to sell my soul. Y'all don't realize that half of the industry has said that to become popular. And when somebody hits that ground and their heart is no longer beating, another person will say, I got you. You a part of one of them. And they make a story about it. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Okay. That is actually a unique name. The fact that you even put it together like that, it says that you're a seeker of truth. And what's throwing you off is the Ma'at. That's what's throwing you off. Because you're not a direct descendant of Ma'at. They have descendants that walk amongst. And right now, because of the paradigm shift, the way it's going, when they see the actual Asikina, when they see their name and they know that you're not a direct descendant, They get upset because so many has did things, mystical things, to be able to take the place of their descendants. This is why they want to read you. And a lot of times they got to allow them to. During this worldwide paradigm shift that entailed Tokyo, um, all type of continents was in this ascension, Africa and everything else. So when I started speaking different languages, people were saying, is this real? Is this? It definitely is. There was a psychologist that made it popular, and there were several different documentaries done on psychics that could do the very same thing that I do, but it is because I am considered black that people are not accepting of it. There was a woman that woke up speaking several different languages, but she was not my color. And because she was not my color, she became popular. For me, it's people tend to see me and they don't want to share. They want to hide me. They want to get my ideas so they can present them as theirs, which has been done to all of the archangels, especially Satan. A lot of people don't realize that they have Satan's scripture in their home because of what they call it. That means he is the one that wrote it. And if you were to know that Askania, the Holy Bible, is for Satan, not for you, you wouldn't say that Satan is demonic because that is his scripture. Because of who Satan is. Satan governs all of the military. That means when they take an oath, when they are no more, they become a part of the God's army. Y'all don't realize that. But it does not matter, Isikina. What they do is they want you to say certain words, and now that it is said, he feels like this is not going to go further because he wants to use clips of it or he wants to share it. And if you say what they feel are triggered, well, I mean, it is. Well, that is in a different system. All right. What happens is because he only sees two, these are the ones that only see two people in the chat. And when they only see two people in the chat, they don't realize they're being set up to do exactly what they do, write stuff down, add sensationalism to it, and create a whole fictitious story surrounding what I'm doing here. He is one of the ones that'll say that the doctrine for them is the Holy Bible when I clearly posted on Someone in Stars Intuitive the instruction that was for my era, not class. I am a cherub. Cherub is my class. That means I was born an angel. And if it had not been for that fictitious hierarchy that someone from your universe created, you wouldn't even know that a cherub is an angel. What is happening now is they come in to see who is commenting. And what they do is make me sound like, or I am, for instance, to the truth. That this is what they do, y'all. They'll say, I'm Victorious T in their minds to see who is listening. These are ones that are being monitored. They take the stance that they are the archangels and they are the ones that are in Mordor. They just they just push it. If they were to comment, which they're not going to do, they come in, they come out. Some of y'all are already aware. When you look up, you see a certain number. But when this live ends and you see the actual number that has been through the chat, you say, no way. A few of you already bore witness to that. Lives for me are special because I get to see. One thing I noticed is there's been a certain amount of viewers. When I look up, there's a certain amount there. But when this live ends, I'm going to get the truth. That God does it to us, not so our heads don't get big. He does it to us because he wants to. That God plays a lot of games with his creation. So I'm going to go ahead. The one that likes to push Jeezy's buttons is not present. Jeezy is not nice. It is because I am a cherub that he doesn't sound like scary when I say his name, but when he talks to you in his mind, he's going to purposely make his voice to where you defecate on yourself because they don't want you thinking that they're going to play with you. These are his ARMY. Y'all need to realize that. That means they do not play. If they joke with me, they're joking with me. Y'all need to understand that. And this is why a lot of people say, I'm Ether, I'm Sadagisias, which I've already explained to y'all that Sadagisias is my pantheon title. This is something that I earned. Do you know I had to be reborn to earn that title? That means I was no more in my sleep. My spirit left my body and God put it back. That's what that means. That means if God did not want me amongst the living, somebody would have found me not living. Do you get what I'm saying? Put one in the chat if you get what I'm saying. Because this is the truth. Some of you are possibly commenting in the comment section and not in the chat. Okay. So when I come on, it's a lot of times for y'all to have a personal session with me, and for those that are not fearful of, putting questions in the comments or whatever, it's being done for you to understand that me, Ether, I am in a body, but I am an angel. It's important for you all to understand the ones that are true prophetesses. A lot of times are tarot and tarot readers, they're oracles. You're not going to get this type of prophecy coming from someone in an institution, someone that has been indoctrinated because they are scared to walk the left-hand path. A lot of people that research already know that you find the truth on the left-hand path. If you have a structured set of beliefs presented to you like they do in college, that means there's already a protocol for you to follow in order for you to reach a higher heights in their system, but not necessarily with God's. It's important for y'all to understand that. Me even picking up a tarot card or an oracle card goes against my belief that I was raised, and that is Christianity. I also grew up Pentecostal. Some of you, you know that. So that meant when I picked that up, that meant that if it was indeed true, that God would have stroked me down, and he did not. The God is the one that said, Cherub, I want you to do this. A lot of you joke and say that the God sounds like God Almighty, and I agree. When I first started hearing him, I couldn't figure out the voice. I said, why this voice sounds familiar, and it's him. It's like a deeper tone of him. But if you were to look at God Almighty, you would agree, because when he comes to you, that is what he sounds like. He sounds like something else to others. He is a man of few words. My belief is that God is all things and nothing. So that means you would not be able to grasp his image. God is indeed real. God is in everything. And when you go to a certain height, you're able to communicate with him. Then when you ascend past that height, you long for his attention. This is something that happens to all types of beings, even vegetation. You all don't understand when they say that these vegetables are living, they mean that. They may not have eyes and take breaths, but they're living. This is why the vegan diet was so popular, because it was living food. So I'm going to go ahead and head out. I hope you all have a peaceful day. That is it.